Yo, guys, what's going on? Coach Jamie here, and I am so excited to have you here listening to my podcast, Make Time for Your Mind with Coach Jamie, where we will be talking about all things mindset, vulnerability, personal development, ways we can become better individuals. And sometimes in that process, we'll get heavy, sometimes we'll have fun, and sometimes I will be challenging your perspective. The goal, no matter what, though, is to leave you better than you were before you tuned in. So, with that being said, let's dive in. Yo, what's going on, guys? Hello again. Today, I want to talk about you, me. um, the company that you keep within yourself. Um, it took a long time for me to get to this point of truly enjoying my own company. I used to have a fear of being alone, dying alone, doing everything alone. I didn't like to sit still. Still, sometimes I don't like to sit still. Like truly sit still. Not this old like I really love spending time by myself, aka drowning out the voices in my head by scrolling through social media, watching TV, getting lost in a project at home that needs to be done, like truly just like sitting with yourself. I believe that is the hardest thing to do. It's super uncomfortable. And I think that it really like exposes like just how confident in who you are, but how much you really like, you really truly mean to you, like how much you value yourself. Um, I even used to be like the type of person where if I would see people out to dinner by themselves, it made me really sad. And I created this narrative for them that like their spouse died or that they didn't have any friends and they were just really sad that they had to just sit there and have a meal by themselves. Like it was horrific for me to imagine a moment of like going out in public and doing something by myself. I had a friend, multiple friends who literally will just go and watch a movie at the movie theater by themselves. I'm like, Lilder. I would never be able to just go watch a movie by myself because everybody else has people with them. What's everybody else going to think? Like, or if I'm sitting there, like, how sad is this? Is that I can't even find somebody to come watch a movie with me. And so I have to watch a movie by myself. Like, I used to be like that bad. And so I remember back there was a coach that I had, like, this was like in my early 20s, to take yourself on a date. And it was like, oh, so corny. And I remember I did it and it didn't go well. We're like, I got super dressed up, like wore heels, like all this stuff. And I went and took myself to a movie. And then I like went to this like sushi restaurant afterwards. And like the movie part was good. And I felt it was all super exhilarating. But it's like, okay, that was the easier one to check off the list because it was going to be dark in the movie theater. So I could like justify or whatever. But then being at a restaurant and then seeing all these people, and here I was like super dressed up. I'm like, people are going to think I was supposed to have a date and I got stood up, or it's like, I don't want people to talk to me, but then again, I do want people to talk to me, but then I don't know what that's going to be. And then so like, I'm just going to awkwardly sit here. And then this is really dumb because now by this point, it'd be really nice to have somebody else because I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. Like, I don't want to just sit here. Welcome to the brain of Jamie, right? Like, that's what that whole situation was. So where I'm going with that is like, I truly was not content with just me, myself, and I. And now when I'm going down this route, I don't want to put this into the context of like only speaking my truth and like only caring about me and my needs and only filling my cup and I don't need anybody. Like, I'm not talking about that because I feel like that's what the world is telling everybody to do. And no wonder we're so lonely. It's because we are dismissing everybody else by trying to talk ourselves into our own happiness by doing it all completely by ourselves. So I'm not going that way. But what I am saying is that, like, think about, like, if you go on a date, or if you are trying to land a client or close a business deal, or meet a new friend, rekindle relationships within your family, like whatever it may be, like, it takes time, quality time, to like sit with them, get to know them, hear them out, like listen to the good, the bad, the ugly, like what matters to them, what doesn't, like all of these things. Like, you have to ask questions, and you have to like spend, again, quality time to truly get to know someone. And because we're in our own head every single day, and we live with ourselves every single day, eat, sleep, and breathe it, literally, it's easy to completely dismiss that and just assume that we know ourselves, when at the end of the day, we really potentially don't. And the world and the noise of the world makes it so easy for us to stay distracted, where like the thought of truly just sitting in silence, like there's a lot of people who have a crazy busy schedule where it's like, what, Jamie, what are you talking about? Speak for yourself. I wish I could make those moments of just having 5 minutes of silence to myself. Okay, well, even at that point, I want to challenge if you're actually getting to know you or sitting with you, or is it that like you're mindlessly shutting off by turning on background noise or trying to catch up on something that you don't ever have time to do? Like, even in those regards of being busy and just wanting those moments of silence by yourself, how is it that you're actually spending that time by yourself, is what I would encourage. Is like, how intentional is it of like truly like getting to know you and being with you and spending time with you? There's a quote, if there is no enemy within, the enemy outside can do me no harm. And I think it's so true, right? Like, we can't truly, like, we will really find peace if we are unbothered. Like, we are happy with who it is we are. And again, for context sake, this isn't from a space of pride, of that like, well, I don't care if anybody likes me. I like me. Even in that tone, you can tell it's not coming from the same place of like, I've worked really hard to be the person that I am. And if somebody doesn't like me, that's okay. Because I really like where I am right now, and I love the people that are around me. See how there's like just a different feel to that. And that's what I want to encourage and talk about today, of like how to get to that, and learn to be willing to sit with yourself, and not just be willing to do it, but then get to a space where you can truly enjoy it. Because it's hard throughout my journey. So after I learned how to get past all of that part, and then I would be like taking myself on dates, and then I was gaining this confidence, and I did truly like the person that I was becoming, and not in necessarily a prideful way. I then reached this point where I like, especially during things like when things were words again, I had my moment. Like, when stress would kick in, and all of these fears or these insecurities or these moments of just like not feeling worthy or just like lonely, right? And like, the inner dialogue was really that there's something wrong with me. Nobody wants me. I'm not lovable. I'm not enough. I'm not doing enough. I don't have enough. I'm not happy. Like, all of those thoughts start to creep in. In those moments of trying to be able to sit with yourself, it's not fun, and you want to run from that. And I reached a lot of really, really dark moments from that, which is when I turned to coping mechanisms of drugs, alcohol. The gym was even one where it's like, that was my therapy. So I could shut off and just not think for a second. And I was never truly just like sitting and trying to like hear Jamie out. Like, girl, what's going on? Let's have a conversation. Let's talk through this together, because it's a lot, right? Like, I never had those moments with myself, and I had to learn how to do it because it was ugly and it was gross. And kind of even going way back to like the first 2 episodes that I had for this season, of just being stubborn and even just slowing down to like be vulnerable and all that type of stuff. Like, I ran from that. And the fact, if I wasn't even willing to do this for myself, why would I truly let other people help me through those moments, right? Like, there was always still potentially that wall that was there. And so learning how to truly like sit with myself in those moments was something that was really hard. But the more and more that I do it, and the journey of like reflecting back from just how far I've come in doing that has been a very fruitful but incredible experience. And so if you're somebody who struggles to sit with yourself, again, truly sit with yourself, or even if you're somebody who has already done this and you do this on a regular basis, I hope this can be a nudge of a reminder to like set aside some time to do that. Like just spend time with yourself. Because again, if we look at this concept with other people, the best way for us to get to know someone, to build connection, to love someone, to respect someone, to trust someone, it requires us to spend quality time, to ask questions, to learn and understand them. So we should probably learn how to do that for ourselves as well. So what I want to challenge you to in all of this is I want you to take yourself on a date, but maybe from a slightly different way than what I did when I first did it, just to maybe create some more fruitful results and have more of a likelihood of hitting the expectation that you want to. Imagine it being not just any date. Imagine it being a first date where it's kind of cringy, kind of like you're anxious and you're like, I don't really know what to expect. Like, what if this is really bad? Like, I don't know if this is going to go. Like, am I going to have a code word to call somebody? Like, But then there's like kind of this excitement where it's like, this is new. Who knows? Like maybe something really cool could come from this. I want you to almost like approach it from that standpoint. Take yourself out on a first date and imagine again on a first date how you would typically be. You're curious. You're asking questions. You're getting to know the person. You're learning more about their story. And you're understanding their quirks, like what things make them happy, what things make them tick, what are some things that they want out of life. Like take yourself on a first date, and maybe that's a walk alongside the water. Maybe that is dinner and a movie. Maybe that is sitting on a park bench. Maybe that is going for a long drive. Maybe that's just sitting in a coffee shop. Whatever it is, I want to encourage you to take yourself on a first date. And as always, I'd love to hear how it goes. What didn't you like about the experience? What did you? And will you be willing to take yourself on a second date after that? All right. That kind of ended cheesy, but thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. Pass this along to someone who also may benefit in it. And until next time, see you later.